We're here, Construction Support Podcast. Paul Rosser, Senior Site Manager in the construction world. Thanks for coming down, Paul.
Thanks for having me.
You've been royally introduced to us by our dear old Katie.
Yep, lovely Kate.
To get in touch. Formerly, or previously a manager, site manager, Barclay Homes.
Correct.
It's kind of come to that. And then you've been in the industry a couple of years.
It will be 40 years next year.
Really?
I've been in construction, straight from school. Left school on a Friday in May 1986. Started work on a Monday with my father.
Did you? Where was that?
That was at what is now the Royal London Hospital.
Yeah.
My dad had a maintenance contract there, looking after all the old buildings and that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you from that way?
No, all my family are from that way. We grew up in Benfleet, to be honest with you. And then we moved to Wickford, where my dad knocked an old farmed house down, rebuilt something. And then, unfortunately, Mum and Dad divorced. Mum went to Southwood and Ferries. Dad went to Langdon.
Yeah, I grew up in Southwood.
Did you?
Yeah.
Asda weren't even built then.
Jesus Christ, there wasn't nothing.
That was in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, they come in and took it over. That the cartel.
Yeah. And then, Mum moved back kind of to Benfleet. I went to school in Benfleet. Grew up there. And I've sort of been backwards and forwards to Benfleet through my life until we moved out this way, out to Goldhanger, where I live now. Lovely little tiny little village. Yeah. There was a reason behind that. As I said to you, I had an accident 10 years ago. And I went back there to recover, and we've basically always stayed there now. We probably wouldn't move back anywhere else, you know. Yeah. But I've always worked in construction.
Yeah.
I started off as a decorator, painter and decorator, and then sort of coming and going with my father, trying different things. I went to Australia when I was 18.
Did you?
Loved that. That was fantastic. And then sort of as we get older, I sort of came away from that, went into my father's business a bit more, had a joiner shop, done a lot of nice work there. And then my dad was coming up for retirement. I decided that I'd sort of had enough, but didn't really know what to do. And a couple of my mates were black cab drivers.
Yeah.
So
my dad included.
I embarked on the knowledge, the wonderful knowledge. But lo and behold, I had an accident. Practically broke my ankle. Couple of operations later and that, and even now, 10 years later, I've found out a couple of weeks ago I've got to have my ankle fused. So not great. But for now, they're going to just put some steroids in it and see how I go.
Was that in London that happened?
Yeah. That was in Burdett Road by Mile End Station.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to have a few injections, 26 in one go. Yeah. We put out for that, just to try and strengthen it and make me a little bit pain-free, heavily arthritic. And we keep going. You know, we keep going in construction. Currently out of work at the moment, as you know.
Yep. So you've always been, where did it go from the painting and decorating time where's the site management side of it come?
So the site management came into it after I'd had my accident. I went back to work just on my own, and it was just too much, absolutely too much for me. And people had said to me, you'd be a really good site manager. So someone put me onto a company called Lucas. S. Lucas. They were a big painting company, but they'd taken on a fit-out contract for Mace, which is, can I say the name of that?
Yeah.
So the building was Victoria Nova, which is right next to Buckingham Palace.
Nice.
Fantastic building, fantastic project, and I loved it. I went there as a painting manager. They quickly swapped me over to fit-out manager because they could see that I knew more than just about painting.
Yeah. That opens you right up then, this fit-out word. I've only come into it the last couple of years.
It was unbelievable. I mean, most of it was done, and a lot of it was to do with finishes because, you know, I think the penthouse there was £20+ million. Marble bathrooms, just looking into the Queen's Garden, you know. It was an unbelievable project. And I got on quite well with Mace there. From there, when that job came to an end, they moved me over to the BBC Television Centre.
Yep. Where's that one? Shepherd's Bush one?
Yeah. White City, yeah. That was okay there, a bit chaotic. But then I had a run-in with the Lucas contracts manager. I'd already tried to leave once and he persuaded me to stay, and then he went a little bit ballistic one day over something, and I just thought, you know what, I can't fucking do this no more.
Yeah.
And it weren't, what's the word? I weren't feeling it there in the fact that it weren't enough. I needed a bit more.
Yeah.
So I came away from there, had a few quid behind me. And then my missus said, like, what are you going to do? So I said, I'm just going to keep looking. And then I see an advert for Barclay with an agency. And I went there, and as soon as I walked through that door, that was a Goodman's Fields Allgate. I knew that's where I wanted to be. Got on very well with the senior site manager then that ended up taking us on, South African guy by the name of Renier Merton. Lovely guy. Had a project director there, David Barry. And we were a family. That's probably the only job I'll ever go on in my life where everything clicked.
Did it? Yeah.
We were a team. We were like brothers, band of brothers. We socialised together. We partied out together. We trained together. We just got through it. The job finished 6 months early. I don't think that was a massive project. I don't even know how many plots there. There must have been 1,500 to 2,000 plots. That will never happen again in my lifetime. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
It was just so well run, so well organised. It was a pleasure to go to work. And I was agency.
Yeah.
They could have let me go at any point. But in and amongst that.
What year was this?
I started there in 2017.
Okay, yeah.
In and amongst that, I had this motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
No, before that, I'd had the motorcycle accident. And then in and amongst that, I got, because the accident wasn't all about my ankle. It left me with a hematoma on my leg. That ended up getting infected sort of 4 years later. And even though I was agency, they paid me all my time off.
Did they? Yeah.
They paid me. I was in hospital. For 2 weeks, looking at possibly having a massive operation to remove my muscle, stitch it back together because it had come apart from inside my leg, and it was prone to infection. So, but they paid me for that.
Yeah.
And they said, don't worry about your job, your job's safe. Now, I was agency, could have gone.
Yeah.
And then when that came to an end, I went to 250 City Road, again, another flagship job, massive, and just got me nut down there.
Yep.
And that's where I was promoted to senior site, 2 40-plus story tower blocks.
Yep.
And we had some tough times there. We had the COVID.
Yeah.
Convid, as I call it. Yeah, convid. And the reason and there is a reason I call it convid. How comes I was allowed to come out my house, right? Out my house, go to a station, surrounded by people, not many, but still people, get on a train with people, walk through London with people, walk into an office with people, get in a lift, go up 40 stories with people, and then backwards, do that all again, back in the office, back through the streets, back on the train, back up. But when I get home, I've got to stay in.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how it was.
Let's stay 2 metres away from it.
Them blue arrows. I missed them blue arrows that were saving my life. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
So, but the repercussions, obviously, of that was and make no qualms about it, I'm glad I worked through it.
Yeah.
Even though they were tough times, I'm glad I did, because I think mentally I would have folded.
Did you have to shut down at all at any point? 70 weeks?
I was sent home for 2 days, and then I was called back.
Yeah.
And I sort of done a deal with the construction director, who was then a promoted David Barry from Allgate. He said to me, look, can you go back and just do this, that and the other? And I said, yeah, but as long as when I'm done that, I can go home.
Yeah.
Because in and amongst all this, there were people whose wives were pregnant. They weren't allowed to come to work. Yeah, I was living at home with my 76-year-old father. My missus and kids had moved to my mother and father-in-law's because we'd sold my dad's house and then it fell through. Yep. I couldn't leave him on his own. But it was okay for other people to be off work, but I didn't think there was much going on for my dad, really, But like I say...
It tripped over itself, didn't it, all the rules?
We got through it, And then, to be honest with you, I think my mental state started slipping around that time, and work got really difficult after that because nothing was happening throughout the world. With Barclay, we have a lot of Chinese investors, and when you're building a 40-story tower, and most of them are Chinese investors, what the hierarchy started doing was homing in at mortgage offers and when they were due to expire.
Okay.
So whereas we would deliver a floor plate, it then went to isolated apartments. So I could have an apartment block. Bearing in mind, half the apartment block is occupied.
Yeah.
yeah, from say up to level 19, and we go from level 19 to level 40. So all of a sudden we're doing a plot on level 19, but we might have to do one at 37. Then we might have to jump back down and do one at 31, and then we might jump down and do one at number 20.
Yep.
So there was no pattern to it. It was isolated plots.
Yeah.
And it got a little bit fraught. You know, we want these plots, we want these plots, we want these plots. You know, I slept on a floor on a pile of coats to get the sound testing done. To have a director telling me, want more apartments, want more apartments. My construction director, and I'll name him at the time, Gary Cheek, witnessed that. Wasn't very happy with them and told them that. And then I started slipping. I was drinking more. As you know, sites are rife for drinking and drugs.
Yeah.
And I took part in all of that. Late nights, early starts. You get through it. It becomes the norm. To a point where I was getting angry. I was angry at home. I was angry at work. I couldn't think straight. I was tired. I was irritable. I just weren't enjoying it no more. And then came the point when I had to go to another project. And I won't mention that project because I just look at that as a blip. But I did warn them not to put me there because there was someone there that I thought I would clash with.
Yep.
And it happened. And that was right in the middle of what I now know. I was having a breakdown.
Yep.
So I had to get away from there. And I went to the doctors. I was already on antidepressants, but my drinking was still bad. Yeah. And he signed me off.
Does it contradict itself, the antidepressants and alcohol? I don't know. Is it? I haven't done it myself, but is it?
To be honest with
you,
no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You know, you're trying to get yourself on a level, and all alcohol does, as we all know now.
It's an antidepressant.
It's a suppressant.
It's a suppressant. Yeah.
So I came home, was signed off for a little while, and then lo and behold, my drinking didn't stop. It gave me a license to drink more, if you like, because I didn't have to worry about getting up. And then when I eventually went back to work, my missus had said to me, because I do a little bit of DJing and that, as I told you.
Yeah.
Nothing major, but just do a little bit.
Local?
All local, mainly, And my missus had seen me, you know, I was going out getting absolutely smashed. I was part of the party. Instead of just treating it as a job and going there, doing my stuff and coming home, I was getting pretty much ironed out. And I got 4 daughters. My missus said to me, we got all the kids home for Christmas. And I'm telling you now, on January the 1st, I'm gone. I'm not watching you kill yourself. You're an alcoholic. You take fucking whatever.
Yeah.
You've had all this time off work and you haven't done anything about getting yourself better. And here you are going back to work.
Yeah.
So I thought, fuck, she's serious. She'd said it before. And like most blokes, we take the piss. We, you know, they give an inch, we take a yard and all that. And I thought, fucking hell. And I'd seen a mate of mine. I mentioned him, Woody. And I'd seen him. He was like me. He played hard, worked hard. And I'd noticed a spring in his step. I'd noticed his complexion had changed. He was happy. He was making these lovely videos about how good he felt after giving it all up and going sober. So I got hold of him and I went to him, I need help, mate. I said, she's going to fuck off. I can't think straight. I'm not enjoying work. Help. So he took me to AA and CA. And last Sunday, or actually I can say this Sunday now. So this Sunday, I'm 20 months sober.
Wow.
And I haven't looked back.
Yeah. And you haven't looked back as well. That's the thing, isn't it?
I haven't looked back on that side of things because what that's done, that's given me clarity.
Yeah.
And it's such a big word in my life now, clarity. Clarity and accountability.
Yep.
For everything I say and do, I'm not speaking because because I'm pissed. I'm not speaking because I've made promises when I was pissed.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking with a fuzzy head.
Yep.
Mentally, I still still feel a bit fucked sometimes.
Yeah.
But in general,
But you're sober.
I'm in a better place.
You're
Yeah.
sober thinking about it.
So, and then what I was telling you beforehand, I went back with Berkeley, went to Poplar Riverside, another fantastic project. Had some lovely people there, Freddie Laws, Andy Down, lovely people to work with. Got on well with everyone now, pretty much, bar a couple. You can't like everyone and get on with everyone. It don't happen, does it? But
It'd be
anyway,
a boring world.
Yeah. But on the whole, lovely job. And the reason I left there, I resigned from there. So I went back to work in the October and I resigned from there in the July, purely financial, that the pay reviews for the last 4 years since lockdown had been absolutely appalling. And bearing in mind, you know, we all were working harder.
Yeah,
I know some people say, oh, yeah, but you had that time off and all that. Well, yeah, okay, I had that time off, but there was a reason that I needed that time off, and a lot of that was work-based.
Yeah.
So...
As I said to you earlier as well, wasn't it? The amount of people that go through a signed off sick, get paid statutory sick pay, but then if you actually look at the science behind why they're sick, it's because the job's driven them to it. It's driven them to, it's fatigued you, it's knackered you out, your body can't cope, you're ill, and then suddenly the company goes,
absolutely,
oh, we ain't paying you at the moment. I think, it's serious
absolutely.
issues.
But so I resigned from there, and I left there on good terms, to be honest with you. Like I say, I was very, very good friends with all my site team, some directors, including the MD. I'm not going to name these people.
Yeah.
And people have got to understand that this is my side of things, so
yeah,
I don't want to libel myself or anything like that. And I went out and I looked for other things, done a little bit of agency or self-employed work. Nothing I really enjoyed. Always maintained my friendship with the hierarchy at Berkeley, who I know will be keen to watch this because we have stayed quite close, and we do talk regular. And he said to me about going to work at another Berkeley subsidiary company, if you like, for want of a better word, in East London. I went for an interview. They said they'd let me know in a couple of weeks. It was actually a couple of days. Can you come back? Agreed the job description, slightly less than what I was really, more of a site manager role, but it didn't bother me, just wanted to get back to work. I'd had 3 months off. And everything looked good. Everything looked really good. Happy to be back. East London, fantastic, you know. But it quickly changed there. Quickly changed. You know, I'll give you some examples. Fire drill. Now, they use an app. No problem, go around and take photos of people, he calls it. Now, I didn't know how to use that, I'd never been taught. I've asked him about it in the middle of this fire drill and he's just barked at me. Yeah. Move on, get over it. Oh, what? What's the matter with him? I thought he was just having a bad day. Yeah. Little did I know, that set the tone for how this person operates. He's aggressive. Yeah. He's moody, petty. And from that day, I started questioning whether I wanted to be there. Yeah, seeds planted. Because it seemed like every little thing, even dust in apartments, you know, we're on a building site for fuck's sake. Yeah. Yeah. Admittedly, all these trades get away murdered with housekeeping. That's why we pull them in. That's why we stand them down, whatever. But ultimately, it's a building site. Yep. And I thought to myself, perhaps you should work in an hairdresser's. But then I thought the hair would probably piss you off, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? You know, where does this go? So I had a couple of run-ins with him, and I don't think he liked the fact that I stick up for myself. But, you know, like the old times where I would fly off the handle because I got an hangover or pissed at that, I knew exactly what I was saying. Yeah. And I found a lot of it just a little bit petty, a little bit like, you're trying to use me as a punch bag here. You're trying to beat me down. Yeah. And one of the things of rejoining Berkeley in this other company was that I had to start all over again. So the 8 years that I'd done, where I'd never had a row with anyone, of any stature, 8 years, not a one single row. All of a sudden, I'm a month, 2 months into my new job, and I'm feeling it. That all he wants to do is have a pop. Yep. And I said to him, never before has my integrity been questioned. To which he said to me, "That's all gone. I told you it was a clean slate. It counts for nothing." Well, it might not to him, but 8 years of giving you all, through COVID, as we've said, through the lockdown setup, through, sleepless nights, it does count for something to me. And delivering probably somewhere in between, 1,500 to 2,000 apartments. For someone to sit there and say, basically, you ain't worth a fucking carrot here, get over it. That ain't right.
Yeah.
And it went on and on and on. His project manager under him pulled me on a fire door that wasn't opening and closing properly on the 10th floor of a concrete block. There was no facade. Asked me to go and fix that after work. Now, bearing in mind that door was like that when I joined the fucking company. So, all right, fair enough. I said I'd go up there and sort it out, and the company involved in who fitted all the temporary doors would come and sort that out. What he didn't tell me was, so I'm sitting up there from 5:30 till 6:30 at night, coming up to Christmas, fucking freezing my tits off, yeah? He diverts the people that are coming to do it to somewhere else, but doesn't inform me. So I'm sitting up there for an hour, after hours, waiting for someone to turn up that didn't turn up, and he didn't have the decency to inform me. So it's all these little things. I started writing them all down. I thought, this is bollocks.
Yeah.
And I started voicing that I was a little bit unhappy. And people were like, oh, it's early days yet, you'll be all right, you'll be all right. Well, it weren't. It just got worse.
Yeah.
So much so that when my probation ended, I went in for a meeting and he said, we want to extend your probation. To which I said, basically, bollocks. I ain't having it. I'm not having it. I'm 54 years old. I don't need to be treated like a fucking child.
Yeah.
You've had it in for me since I got here. And here we are.
That pressure ramped up every job over the years. There's no.
I think so,
like
because
in general, I know
because they're a totally different company to when I joined. And they can say all these different bits and pieces of this company's run different to that company, this company's run different to that company, but they're all Barclay.
Yeah.
And Barclay are not the same company that I joined 8 years ago. They're not. And they've lost so many good people.
Have they?
So many good people, from people at director level, right down to site level. They've lost some really good people, and I think they'll lose more. And, they've had all these merges and all that all going on. No one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
No one knows. Not at that level.
Big bonuses get paid out.
Well, they don't to us, do they?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Our bonuses, like I said to you, my pay packet levelled off. My work rate went up. My bonuses come down.
Yeah.
Cost of living went up.
Yeah. And
people are struggling. And then to then be told you're not worth fuck all this year.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anyone says. I'm of a certain generation where probably loyalty stands for a lot more than probably the younger generation. And I'm not saying if that's right or wrong, or if they're right or wrong.
I get it.
But these kids won't stay and tolerate that, what we've tolerated over the years. It just won't happen.
No.
They want bigger and better things.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the kids are cleverer than what they get credit
100%.
for. Yeah. I had some good ideas for Barclay about getting the kids involved more in trades, Obviously, we had the Brexit debacle. What we're going to do with the kids. We need to get the kids involved because we've got a high percentage of foreign labour.
Yep.
No one knew where that was going to go. Was the foreign labour going to disappear?
Yeah. Yep.
Who have we got to cover that? You start bringing the kids through now. That sort of fell on deaf ears a little bit.
We get to that time of year now, so it's actually on the background of the Romanian background.
Yep.
This time of year, everyone goes home for 2-3 months.
Yeah. Build their palaces.
Yeah. So you're right.
And they do the same at Christmas.
Yeah.
And they do the same at Easter.
Yeah.
We've just come out of that. And I kind of say to people, like, when we give our contracts out, don't we look at that? Because what happens there is they all disappear, but we're still put under the cosh to get things delivered.
Yep.
No, there don't seem to be any allowance for that.
No.
And there should be.
Did you notice difference when you got a Chinese client or different clients from different places? The only reason I say this, I remember speaking to someone about a multiplex job during COVID, and one multiplex job was closed during COVID, and everyone was on furlough or whatever, and then the other multiplex job was open, and no one was allowed to have time off. You had to crack on, and the multiplex were getting hammered for it. And then it actually turned out that one was, I think the Arabs backed one of the projects, and the Chinese backed another. And I can't remember which way it was round. I'll be guessing and could get it wrong, but that client, from their background and their culture, was like, no, we're not having this. You carry on pushing. And then the other culture from a different world.
Listen, I don't know really, to be honest with you, because we had a lot of different people buying these apartments. Some were bought to live in, some were bought to rent out, some were bought because their child's at school, and if they buy one and rent one out, that'll pay for them to live in London cheaper, and it'll also pay for their costs by the time they sell it.
There's so many in East London going up now.
There is. But I don't know is the answer to that.
Yeah.
Something went on, didn't it, within construction there? Because, like I say, you know,
we were the only ones working, apart from the emergency work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I was on the A120 actually. Yeah, I was on the A12. I was on the A120 doing roadworks. Then I went over to Reading, done some works over there in the civils world, and that was all. Yeah, during just kept them moving. And I couldn't have a day off in the end. There was so much work going on because I was just jumping from ship to ship. Yeah, it was a great.
Like I say, just made me laugh that I couldn't even go and see my missus and kids, although she'll probably say that it was a godsend.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even allowed out the house.
But I think the average construction
unless
worker,
I was going to work.
The average site-based construction worker wouldn't survive indoors for a few months, would they? Let alone a few days. I had to isolate for 12 days with COVID once, and I was crawling the walls.
Well, we had a customer service girl that used to come in our office. She's come in one day, and we're all sitting every other desk. We had satellite offices around the site, so we weren't all bunched in one office. Anyway, she sat down, so she's I'm sat there, my mate sat there, she sat there. So we're all sort of spaced apart, got perspex screens in front of us. Lo and behold, she's got COVID. She's pointed us all out, hasn't she? So I've got to go home, self-isolate for 10 days, whatever it was, all because she's told this whatever. And, you know, I got lambasted a little bit. I didn't have the vaccine.
Yeah.
I flatly refused it.
Yeah.
I did question it. Should I have it? Shouldn't I have it? Am I going to lose my job? Ain't I going to lose my job? But anyway, I ended up not having it.
Yeah.
All my missus, all my kids. And I got absolutely ridiculed for that. I mean, good old Gary Cheek. It was around about the time that Novak Djokovic was banned from Australia.
Yeah.
Or he got banged up while he was out in
He turned
Australia.
up there then as well. He got there and didn't get through customs.
That's it.
Yeah.
So my project director decides to call me Novak's Rosovic, and I owned it. I thought it was fantastic. You know, I go in the next day and there's a set of ping pong bats on my desk, and you know, just I owned it. And this is how we got through it. You know, it was all banter, all friendly banter.
Yeah.
And you know, like I say to you, I loved working for Bar. I was very proud, very, very proud that I worked for them. You know, the old man Tony Pidgley had a great ethic. You know, on house building, on apartments. Unfortunately, I feel that sort of diminished since he passed away, which was just after lockdown, I think. And Berkeley, in my mind, are run and owned by accountants, and that's what it's all about.
It is now, isn't it? You're seeing it now, the money.
And it ain't just Berkeley, is it? It's construction.
No, it is. Yeah, you're right. It's construction all over. We see it now.
And after 8 years watching that happen, time for me to go. I don't want to be party to that.
Yeah.
You know.
We say it now, even in the mental health space that we're in, is show us one company that's invested financially heavily into, or invested at all, not to mental health first aid, because I'm not one for that, but show us one company at that level what's funded or invested into that side. You know, just support the mental health. They stop this suicide rates flying up. There's nothing in place.
I have heard recently. I've got a friend who works for a company, and I've heard that their input into mental health is absolutely fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. They really do look after their staff. And I named them. I don't know whether.
Yeah. Please do. Yeah.
I've heard it's Morgan Sindel.
Oh yeah, Morgan Sindel about. Yeah.
I've heard that they really look after their people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think BAM are doing something with one of the universities as well that I heard recently as well.
Well, I went to a director at Berkeley and said to him, how about putting me through some mental health courses. I would love to be a therapist. Is where I'm coming from because I've come through the other side, and you know, as I say, I am sober and talking to people like my therapist. If I can mention him, Sean McNicholas, lovely man. I've only had one session with him, but he's been working with a very good friend of mine, and he's a lovely man, Sean. And Sean seems to think I could be quite good at this help. I love helping people. So I went to Berkeley and I said, how about, you know, I've got an idea about becoming your own in-house mental health therapist, whether it's trauma, addiction, you know, mental health covers an array of things, as we know. And he went, oh, great idea. I think you'd be really good at that. I'll put it to him. Yep. So obviously he had to go and put it towards the rest of the business. Well, the response back was kind of good and kind of a bit, I didn't know what to make of it. He said, they're making cutbacks. Now's not a good time for unnecessary spending. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, without your people, you ain't got a business. Your biggest asset is your people. Yeah. Why on earth wouldn't you, you know, it's all right being reactive, isn't it? Yeah. To someone having a breakdown. Yeah. How about we be proactive and make sure that it don't happen? Yeah. So they have asked for costs, how much it's going to cost to put me through things. Yep. I am speaking to Sean about things. Obviously, there's a lot going on in my life at the moment because I am looking for another job. But there's a possibility that if I ever went back to Berkeley, it would be in that role. It wouldn't be as a construction manager. I don't think my missus would be very happy if I went back there, you know.
But that's it. We're saying again, how many of these companies this role I think will be born. It's got to come in where these companies of these sizes have professional people that can do this stuff.
It's got to happen. Yeah. I mean, you know, I've been following you for a little while now since I met Kate, and some of these statistics that you put out there are just absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
It's not even mad, is it? It's
criminal.
It's
it's looking criminal, if anything.
Yeah, definitely. You know.
Yep.
You know,
here's one for you. We went on a course yesterday. We were at a workshop on Thames Tideway. We went, Katie come and 2 boys, and it was all about Epic. It's called Active Training Team Company. They do like a West End theatre actors sort of. They will do the inductions and they act it out, and they are bang on. They are really good. I've been to a few now, and they will reenact stuff, and they're professional actors, and they role play, and they question it to you, and they make you get involved to a certain degree. If you don't agree with it. Yeah, they're brilliant. And we're doing a bit of them in the background at the moment. And they've been great to us over the last few years. We went to one yesterday about sexual harassment in the workplace. And it was, we went, let's say the 3 of us and Katie, and it was an eye-opener too. You kind of get it. And it was the guy's doing the acting, puts his hands on a girl's shoulder, asks her for a job, needs something done, come on, and really pushes and she incentivises, I'll buy you a coffee, I'll do this. Sits in a invader space, a private space. All this shines up, and then she talks about how she feels as the lady who witnessed that. And this happens, and it does, with guys and girls, of everyone. But then it really goes on to the fact that no one would believe her. She didn't want to cause trouble in the workplace. If she were upset, he's been here 4 years. He's really popular. She's not been here that long. All these things that went about it. But then I looked at it last night in terms of this is what we've been pushing for a while. Now this is a bit unthinking. We might have something here, but if that lady goes and kills herself because she's been sexually harassed in the workplace and can't go nowhere, and I think just looking last night, the risk of becoming suicidal doubles if you're sexually harassed as well, let alone in the workplace. If that lady then takes her own life, it has nothing to do with the company. The company cannot be held responsible for the fact that she's taken her own life, the fact that they've not addressed that problem. And that's the same with any suicide as well. Mental health pretty much as well. There's never been one health and safety executive investigation and
that's what I read from it.
The article.
That's criminal.
There's not been one charge towards any company with regards to mental health and well-being or anything in the mental health space.
I mean, I'm not saying that they all would be.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. But then
there's a great chance that there is.
I tell you what,
especially where money's concerned.
For people like me who are educated very much in a hands-on approach and not very neurodiverse, or I am very neurodiverse, so not academic. You only have to chat GBT how many people have been sexually harassed in the workplace and then believed to have taken their own life. In this, and this goes across all employment as well, not just construction.
Mental.
The list that come up last night, Royal Mail, all these big firms, boom, boom, the military, one after the other. Not one of those companies has ever been held responsible, and not one of them has been charged with any kind of negligence from a duty of care point of view that we were supposed to have when we're in the workplace.
And this is what it all comes back to, isn't it?
Duty of care. Yeah, so that's what last night I was like, gee, because we've been looking now, how do we get the attention of the public now to go, this is fucking pretty bad actually. Like, this isn't just because middle-aged white men doesn't really matter. We know that statistically. Well, that's the way we see it. So, but when you start bringing women into the equation and other ethnic minorities, whatever, I'm not obviously it's touching the close mark, but people don't give a fuck about the middle-aged white man. With 700 of us killing ourselves every year, no one's interested. You know what I mean? But one or two sweep through to the front newspaper in other industries. But I think this sexual harassment thing could be something for us to really
need to have a look at it.
Yeah,
definitely
interesting. But that's our next venture at the moment with all that.
But talking about mental health and everything, I mean, we've just had Mental Health Awareness Week, and where I was working, I thought it was absolutely pathetic. Half-hour walk in the park. Yeah. Half-hour walk in the park. Tea in the office. Community, because it was all around community this year, apparently. So we had community, which is what we do every day. The subcontractors weren't brought in on any of this, and yet they're the ones that probably suffer more than us.
Yeah, down the chain.
They showed us what they wanted to do. I joined a Zoom call, and they had these lovely green and white leaflets. And I looked at them, they asked me what I thought. I looked at them and I went, well, they're great, but that's missing. That ain't there. You've said you'd check in on a week's time. Week's time could be too late. What I really wanted to say is screw it up and throw it in the bin because it ain't worth a carrot. Yeah? That's what I wanted to say.
Looks good on LinkedIn.
But because I'd seen how excited they all were about this and what they wanted to do, I just left them to it. And Mental Health Awareness Week came and went. Following week, I was out of a job.
You're not the only one. I saw 3 people pop up on LinkedIn open to work straight after that week. And I thought, and these were people who've been there like you as well, had rapport at places. Yeah. It's funny how they delayed it a week.
But, you know, it's a very grey area, the old mental health. Some people believe it and some people don't. Yeah. And I know that for a fact.
100%.
Because I've heard people's comments.
Yep.
That's up to them.
Yeah.
But until you've witnessed the breakdown, I was probably days away from taking my own life at my worst.
Was it?
Yeah, days away. And if I hadn't stopped drinking, I probably would have killed myself.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I'm not fucking about. That's how bad I was. Yeah. Until those people have worn those shoes and been in that place.
Yeah.
They can boo-hoo it all they like. They live in their little fluffy world where everything's good. I would never ever want anyone to walk in those shoes that I was walking in at that time.
Yep.
It's fucking heartbreaking. I felt fucking lost, isolated, down, beaten up, worthless, fucking useless. And the only way out I could see was to end it. Yeah. And that, I swear on my fucking life.
Yeah.
That is how it was.
Yeah.
That's how low I got. I had to hit rock bottom as low as I could get to be able to come back. And I made a decision that when I come back, I'm never going back there again.
Yeah.
And I could feel myself going back at that job quite easily. I questioned my sobriety. I could murder a beer tonight. No fucking good to me, mate. No good to anyone. And yeah, times are hard.
Well, that's
at the
a
moment,
pure...
You know.
To me, that's a pure sign that something's getting to you and at the works.
Absolutely.
When you go, I might need a bit, and you're this far, and you know something's
absolutely. You know, and I'm a very honest person, very black and white. You know, no grey area with me. I'm quite open about mental health. I'm quite open about my addictions. I'm quite open about my recovery, because if I can help one person, that's one person, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
that person can help a person. That person can help a person. All of a sudden, you've helped 100 people.
Without even knowing. Yeah.
You know,
the ripple effect of it.
But it's still taboo. You know, especially in construction, especially with men.
Yeah.
Because men don't open up, as we know. You know, all your big boy pants up and all that.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing with construction, is that I think we're all talking about it, the awareness is all there, but it's not it's not taken seriously still. We can all know about it, like you say, but we don't actually take it serious.
No, I mean, I had a couple of good chats with another couple of mental health first aiders at work, and they get it, you know, really, really sound. In fact, one of them, Sam, he said, we got our names up on the board there. I said, yeah. He said, but if someone wanted to talk to me, like, he's a black guy, yeah. He said, if someone wants to talk to me, they've got to come and pull me off my desk.
Yeah.
Where everyone can hear them.
Yeah.
You know, he said, it ain't going to happen, is it?
No.
You know, it's different for me out on site.
Yeah.
People say, Paul, can I work with you?
Yeah. Did you come across many people, slightly, but it ties in with us, what we did, the payment problems and the payment procedures on projects. Do you ever come across that with subbies?
With subbies?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Was it a big factor, big problem?
What did I say to you? Run by accountants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Variation orders. Don't want to pay this. Don't want to pay that. Whose problem is this? Whose problem is that?
Yeah.
You know, I was getting in my probation meeting, I'm getting told I'm not proactive enough.
Yeah.
But they didn't say anything in that meeting about the joinery package being 10 weeks behind because the commercial manager didn't get it signed off. So you're asking me to be proactive when I can't go no further than what I've done with my part of the build.
Yeah.
Because I've still got another 4 or 5 weeks till my joinery turns up.
Yeah.
So it's bollocks, really.
Yeah. That shit's put on your lap.
Well, yeah. You know, so commercially, you know, they're young guys again, perhaps not any much experience, but I'm getting pulled out on site by them saying, well, we're not going to do that because we ain't been paid for that. We're not going to do that. No, we need a site instruction. It's a fully signed site instruction, variation order. So we'll do that. We ain't doing that because we ain't been paid. And you go back and they look at you like you're trying to fucking pull one over them. All I want to do is build.
Yeah, 100%.
And you're pulling us back.
But the deadline, the end date stays the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Keep pushing back.
Oh, okay, yeah, you know, don't you? No.
Yeah, the two biggest factors we see and understand here from our side to the whole mental health stuff is program pressure and payment procedures.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it all just stems from there.
Absolutely.
All that shit that goes on.
Well, I try to encourage with the subbies that if there's an issue out on site, like, because they all sit in a big room below our project office, they all sit in a big room, and I really try to encourage talking amongst yourselves to resolve things. Because if you contracharge him, later on he's going to contracharge you.
Yeah.
When you do that, the company take 20% on top. Do him a favour, he'll do you a favour. Scratch each other's backs, get to know each other, work together. Yeah. I got accused of letting the subbies lead me. And I went, no, I encourage them. I said, but I don't want arguments out on site. I just want the fucking job done. You know, come on, guys. Put your heads together and get this done. And I got accused of that, which I thought was laughable. Because if you went to the subbies, there's one thing they tell you, I'm quite forceful. You know, I want things done and I want them done properly and I want them done now.
Yeah.
So to be accused of letting the subbies, basically the tail wag the dog.
Yep.
I said, fuck off. It's fucking not in me, mate. It's just not in me. And some of them subbies I've known for years.
But when you get a job where people just do help each other out, it's a fucking good place.
Of course it is. I try and say to them, look, we're a team. I'm at the top. Unfortunately, someone's got to be. If I get you on the head, I'm going to hit you on the head.
Yeah.
So if we just do what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to do it, there'll be none of that.
Yeah.
And they kind of bought into that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I left, the day I left here, every one of them subcontractors, gutted, mate, really gutted.
Yeah.
Can we call you? I said, yeah, of course you can. Here's my number. Call me.
Yeah.
Get any problems, phone me.
And that's the thing. Like you say, then someone else comes in and the job starts again, really, doesn't it, really?
The ironic thing with my last job, the one I've just left, is I'm being handed flats with so much wrong from the manager that hands to me, and he got given a contract. Yeah. Whereas, because I'm not proactive enough, because I'm reactive to his fucking cock-ups. So, look, I can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
But these are all things I've got to put down in my email as to the reasons why I left.
Yeah.
Because I think I was persecuted, victimised, used as a punch bag.
Yeah.
Now, I'm no doubt in my mind he's going to go, no, it weren't like that. It weren't. No, it was like that. It was 100% like that.
Yeah.
Not once did you think about coming and talking to me. You saved it up till 2 days before my probation was over.
Yeah. It's awful. I had a job before and was working a week at a time, thinking, I've been on this job for 6 months now. How much longer? And every week, another week. Yeah, another week.
Yeah.
I was like, can you please at least just give me 6 weeks?
Yeah.
And no, they
Well,
hung
the
out for
other
a
thing
week
was
every single time.
when I went for the interview for that job, my probation period was only supposed to be 3 months. It was 6 months.
Yeah.
Now I wanted it 3 months, but I let it go. I thought, well, does that matter that much? Really? Not really. What would have happened after 3 months? Perhaps I might have got a contract after 3 months.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then the thing, the industry's been quite one of the ways I can't find people, isn't it?
But really not a nice place to be.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to new challenges.
Yeah.
Perhaps don't put this out until I've found a new challenge.
Your tickets are you got the gold card.
Yeah,
you got black card,
all my tickets are in date. I went through them. I got asked for them yesterday to send to an agency who put me forward for a role. I'm hoping to hear about that today. Yeah, I got my MVQ level 6, my black card.
So how's that been? What's the process of all that been like? Have you had to was you caught up in the old refresher thing this year, the MVQ thing? It probably didn't affect you, actually, did it?
No.
You've already done.
No, I'm all done, mate. I think my black card's got to be refreshed in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
27 or to 28.
So that's a long process, isn't it? Just get into that, really.
Yeah, that took a long time. I think the younger generation fly through it because they're sort of more into that classroom thing. But when you sort of get to 50 and you're like, what? I've got to really think about that. But, I didn't realise till a few months ago that an MVQ level 6 is the same as is it a bachelor's?
It's up there, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is now. Yeah, so, the claim as. Yes, you're a uni.
Clever old me. Yeah. So that's all in date. Me first aid at work, which you have to do now. I've got a few things that Bartley put us through, fire risk management and all that. All things that will come in handy. Obviously, the gateway scenario is sort of holding things back in London at the moment. There's so much. I heard yesterday that they've got 1,800 projects that are caught up in gateway.
Yeah, I literally saw. I don't know anything about this, but someone mentioned it to me once last week. I just saw a little article last week about it's just a list of them, and a huge queue.
Yeah, and that's just to get a response.
Yeah,
that's not to get a start date. That's just to get a response from them to say that that things ain't moving.
Yeah.
So, good old Keir Starmer can say what he like, build.
Yeah.
Well, undo the fucking red tape then.
Yeah.
And let us build.
He's something else, isn't he? Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. Oh, mate.
That's a whole new podcast.
Did you know his dad was a tool maker?
Who was it the other day? It was on a channel.
He made the biggest tool there.
He was born up in a 3-bed semi-detached in Surrey, and the whoever the presenter was on the channel said, "Oh, well, can I stop you there? In Surrey, my heart bleeds." Yeah. So, I think the person said didn't quite cock on where Surrey was.
Yeah, absolute cockler.
Yeah.
But.
Are you DJing? You're at DJing at the moment?
What's the crack with that's all gone a bit quiet at the moment, to be honest with you.
When did you get into the DJing? Because a bit of the fun stuff.
Well, my love affair with house music started in 1988.
Did it?
I dabbled with decks and bits and pieces and done a few things and that. And then as I sort of got older and got the kids and everything, it sort of died a death, come away from it. And then to be quite honest with you, it was really strange because I'd never thought about going back into that. And then during lockdown again.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of my best friends, Andy Manston, who owns Clockwork Orange, came and worked with us because he's another one who would have cracked up.
Yeah.
He's like me, he got ADHD and he's all over the fucking place. And he come and worked with us and he sort of got me involved in it a little bit more. And next thing I bought some decks and it's all changed.
Yeah.
No more vinyl and it's all done with CDJs and that. And got back in that and then just started getting a little bit of work locally.
Yeah.
Done a couple of little festivals and that, which I was telling you about.
Do you know, you must have, DJ Dave over your way in Southend?
DJ Dave?
DJ
fucking Dave. How many of those are there around the world?
He
fucking
he goes. He had a radio station as well. We played a bit of golf with him. He was into his music, but he set up a little radio station. He had a radio station online during COVID.
Right.
And I had a chat with him over golf before, and some of the stuff he got back, and people were literally saying to him that we've been stuck in a flat on my own for 6 months. You've been the only person I've spoken to, I've listened to, and you've been there. Out in the mentally,
I get it.
People were on his shoulder.
It's really funny actually.
It's a cool community, isn't it?
I went to a rave just after lockdown, a clockwork rave where it was all in pens of 6 people, and if you had 5 in that one and 1 in that one. Or whatever, you had to, could only have 6.
Merge your pen.
Yeah, so if you had 7 in one, you had to let one go and go into that one, and we were like, "What the fuck?" It was so crazy.
Really? Yeah.
But it was so unique.
Yeah.
You know,
trying to explain it now, let alone 20 years time, isn't it?
Yeah, it was mad. So, yeah, so the music thing, nothing professional for me. I leave that to my mates, and I've got some good mates in that. And then, I love my music. My music, to be fair, is what keeps me sane.
Yeah, house music's decent as well.
Love it. Yeah.
Was that on Tots and all that back in the day then?
Fucking hell, Tots. Yeah, well, Tots was when we were before the rave scene was Tots.
Yeah.
And then when the rave scene started, it was some funky airplane hangar in the middle of Kent somewhere after getting a phone call on the M25 where it was. You know, that's how it all started. But, you know, when you look at all the kids and all the music they're all listening to now, all came from house music in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, my brother's 7 years older than me, and he was very much into that, and we shared a bedroom as kids, and he always had music pumping.
Fantastic.
I listened to everything when I was far too young, but I loved it. Now I listen to it, such nostalgia, and it listens.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and some of it's timeless. You know.
Yeah, massively. But really like you say, so much of it now is still in today's music. Just
absolutely.
And it catches you, doesn't it?
And you know, in my sobriety and everything, I found it was really weird. Actually, I was playing an event over in Southend, a sober event, and I was looking at this guy, and I'm thinking, I know him, and he's looking at me as if to say, I know him. And I had contact lenses in, so I look a little bit different without my glasses. Yeah. And I said, "You're Sean, aren't you?" Anyway, it was the therapist. It was my mate Andy Manston's therapist. And he said, "Are you on tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, come with me at 12 o'clock. I want to take you somewhere." So I said, "Right, okay." Bit strange, but okay. So anyway, I've done my set in the morning. And then midday, he went, "Right, come with me." Anyway, he took me into a teepee, big old teepee. And I met these spiritual girls. Yeah. This is where I met them. Anyway, I'd done some breath work and all that. Bearing in mind, I was only about 8 months sober at the time. And I'd done this breath work and I had a real big reaction to it. I was like, wow, what the fuck happened there? And I'll never forget because it was the day England played in the World Cup final. And I got home and I don't even remember the World Cup final. I was like, I was out of it a little bit on a natural high. But really thinking, really deep thinking in that. Anyway, lo and behold, I got in touch with these girls. I said, look, that was amazing, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to do some more, learn some more. And they said, actually, we really like your music. Would you come and do a few events with us? Yeah. And that's what I do now. Yeah. They're the things that I do. I do a bit with them, became really good friends with them. Went out to Morocco with them this year to
amazing.
Kind of retreat place.
So you're DJing at the retreats?
No, I do DJ at the retreat. I didn't out there. It was like a mini holiday. I was only out there for like 3 or 4 days, hoping that will come out there because I'll probably go back next year.
Amazing.
But then they put something on a place in Ongar called Ficklefield, and I would advise anyone, if they're interested in anything of this spiritual or holistic stuff and that, Google Ficklefield, ficklefield.com. Yep. Google it, have a look at them. Have a look at the Conscious Heart Warriors. Okay. That's the girls that have helped me on my sobriety path and really understand who we are. Yep. Am I allowed to mention those? Is that free advertising?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, that too. Right now, we don't
absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. The Conscious Heart Warriors can't explain enough of what they're. My soul sisters. They've done so much for me to how I think and feel now. My kids have met them and done work with them. My missus, I've done Campervan Camp Out Festival with them a little while ago. Yeah. That was really good. I played there.
Yeah.
That was a silent disco. That was a bit odd. First time I'd ever done that.
They're great, aren't they?
Took my headphones off and just watching everyone dance into silence.
But you're
really
so in
weird.
it though, isn't it? We went to Brownstock
mate.
around the corner, an old
Yeah.
music festival. Mate of mine, the Browns, are good friends with them. And the first year they had it, they had a marquee there, and it had a silent disco. I went in there. What the fuck? What's going on in here? And you put the mics on, and you're there, aren't you? Oh, we got to do that.
It was just
we've got to go on sites. I think we should take a marquee onto building sites and set up a little silent disco. There
you go. I've got the decks. Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
How did you just get on? I suppose you just get a load
All you
of
do, you can go online. You can buy a bundle of these. You can buy like a transmitter. You just need like an audio transmitter that plugs into the back of my decks.
Yeah.
That sends a Bluetooth signal out to matching headphones.
Yeah.
And I think you can buy them like 100 headphones or something. I don't know how much they are, probably about $1,000, I suppose. So something like that for 100 headphones. That's what they had. They had 100 headphones. Everyone popped them on. You tune into the channel on the transmitter. Bang.
Construction rave, Central London.
Yeah. Silent rave.
Bit Trafalgar Square.
Yeah,
Just turn up
absolutely.
there. We're not making no noise.
As long as we don't do Barclay.
Oh, superb. So there's that one. All fair play to you on your sobriety. But like you say,
thank you.
You're loving it and enjoying it. And
I am enjoying it.
the breathwork stuff. You're going on that. It's unbelievable.
The breathwork stuff is just, if you've never done it, please just have a look on YouTube or whatever. At some of the probably the more famous people like Wim Hof and that.
Yeah.
Ice baths are these blow up jacuzzis, which ain't expensive now. Anything to bring you down. Anything to just make for you to chill out.
I saw a therapist 2018. And I literally come out of the bat after the 3 sessions with them and it was all about breathing techniques. And that's when I come away from there thinking, and I went for a run. I've said this story quite a few times, but I run for 60 minutes. And I finished a 60-minute run. Well, before I finished a 60-minute run, I thought, this is in the evening. I thought, I'm just going to carry on running and just go for another hour, Forrest Gump. And I run another hour. And I run my second, and this is whilst listening to the first time to these breathing techniques. They were on my headphones. And I run my second hour faster than my first hour, I've never run more than an hour in my life.
Yeah.
And from then I was like, there's something in this. It took me into what they call it, flow state sort of thing, where your mind just shuts off. Yeah. And I was just running without thinking about the fact that I'm blown out my arse and my legs are killing me, or my lungs are gone. Yeah, I was just away, just in a fairy tale world of just daydreaming.
I get it, yeah.
And then from that day, that's when I really started pushing with this thing. I went, why aren't we educated on this stuff in life when we work in an industry so fucking intense and pressured?
Right.
So why these are such easy wins for people?
I'd love to come on board with you and help you where I can. I think the breathwork stuff is amazing. I think you could all benefit from that. So try it out yourself so that you know what you're doing. I can point you there to the girls, to the people over at Ficklefield. It's an amazing place. It's like Narnia. You go there and straight away you just go, boom, you know. And some of the technique, there'll be something for everyone. Yeah, I'll tell you something they do on a Friday night, the last Friday of every month. They do a men's circle.
Okay.
We all sit around, big fire pit, fire in the middle, all men just sitting around talking about their mental health, and if you've got any issues or whatever, you can just all have a...
It's just going back to humanity 1,000 years ago, isn't it?
Absolutely, but why not? You know, because there does appear to be a lot more for women out there than there does blokes with this kind of thing.
Yep.
Whether it's yoga, whether it's, you know, it naturally is more around the women. Yeah. And I think it's really good that they've put this guys thing on there. I know I've not been to one yet because I've never managed to get there from work, but I will go.
Yep.
I think it really is important, you know, these kind of things. You know, we've got AA, we've got CA. Yeah. We don't have these mental health.
It's not supporting yourself, It's not even when you're at a crisis point, is it? Just to help you.
Absolutely.
Just going to the gym.
You never know. When you go to one of these things, and it's the same as AA and CA and that, you know, you've got to look for the comparisons, not the opposites. Mm-hmm. There'll be someone there that's been is feeling or has felt how you're feeling now. Mm. There will be someone. There will be someone to open up and help you.
Yeah.
You know, the hardest thing in addiction and all that is getting through the door. Yeah. That's your first step. Yeah. Admitting you're powerless over your addiction and go and get help. And that's what I've done. I've never looked back. Yeah. Some people ain't so lucky, are they? No. Because that mental health help is not readily available, as we know.
Mm-hmm. No, amazing stuff. Oh, brilliant. Well, thanks for coming down, Paul.
It's been a pleasure. I think we could talk all day, couldn't we?
Yeah,
really,
good.
There's so
It is,
many
isn't it?
different things, and I would just like to point out that those are my views on that company. And if I wanted to be really spiteful, I could have named and shamed them all.
Yeah.
But there you go.
No, I appreciate you coming down. It's good.
Done.
We are pushing ourselves now to be the voice of construction. There's a few places out there,
and I want to help you.
Yeah, there's a few places out
wanna
there, a few organisations that say they are representing and they're the voice of this industry, but we struggle to get our voice heard by them, ironically. So we said, right, we'll do it ourselves then. We'll start making sure the voices of construction. And it is everyone.
And please, while I'm off work,
Yeah.
If you want to utilise me for anything,
Yeah, 100%.
even if you want to borrow my sound equipment and I've got it all there. No, I'm deadly serious.
Yeah.
If you can use me in any way while I'm off, please do.
Yeah, 100%.
In the meantime, the job search continues.
Yeah, there's a couple. I just thought of someone actually on my end. I'll put over to them now.
There's still a bit of life left in me yet.
Yeah,
I'm hell bent on working with the youngsters.
Yeah.
Showing them that it's cool to be a plasterer or a chippy or a plumber or electrician, whatever. I really want to get a grip on that. So that might be something for me. If someone wants to take a punt, if anyone out there does manage to listen to this and go, actually, we'd like to have a chat with him, please do.
Yeah, 100%. We'll put your details across.
Yeah,
anywhere we can
mate.
help. But that is a good thing now as well. I think we've seen that. There's a lot of people out there who want to help the youngsters coming through in there, and that's the promising bit. It's just getting those youngsters believing.
The thing is, kids now, they're transfixed to these iPads and we're transfixed to these iPads and phones, and us adults are as guilty as the kids.
Yeah.
They forget how to use their hands.
Yeah.
And there is a shortage of decent site managers at any level or trades.
Yep.
And why not show them that, everyone needs an electrician.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a plumber. Everyone needs a chippy at some point. Carpenter, the floor layer.
We talked about this, and especially with the trades, even when the building's built, the building still needs these people in terms of the maintenance.
It,
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's why I say London is fucking obscene, and it's an hour from here. We're on the doorstep of London.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we got there up there yesterday. It's just, if you look around, the whole thing's a building site all the time. You can't walk down one road or cross a road.
But you know what it is? Everything's got to be done now. I want it now.
Yeah.
As you were saying about the program.
Yeah.
Everything's now. Got to be done now. Why not? Why ain't that done? Why ain't that done? Give you time to think. And I think the kids have got cute to that. I think they look at it and go, fuck that. I ain't doing that.
100%.
I can go and do that.
Yeah,
10 grand.
Yeah. Exactly that. Live the dream. Get fancy, watch fancy car.
Yeah. That's what they all want. So, we need to be showing them. And I think one of the things to show them in and amongst all this is that not only is it good to do that, but people care about you doing it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that element ain't there. This is why we're talking today about the duty of care.
Yeah.
That's what it's mainly all about. Duty of care. But anyway,
brilliant. Pleasure.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve.
Cheers, Paul. We appreciate it.
Yeah, brilliant.
You're always
mate.
welcome.
Yeah,
Doors
thank you very
always
much.
open.